Okay, so let's dive straight in. So Megan, can you tell everybody what kind of challenges you were experiencing before we met and before we kind of, started working together? What was going on for you?
Sure, yeah. Life still is incredibly busy, and I was constantly tired, sluggish, but not able to sleep very well for a variety of reasons, and constantly had gut problems, short-tempered, poor mood, and whereas I've been very lucky my entire life so far to be able to eat anything I want and it not affect my weight, suddenly that was no longer the case, and my weight was starting to creep up a little bit, and just everything together, I thought, I needed to try and make some changes.
Yeah. I remember our conversation really well when we first spoke. And yeah, I mean, you've got young kids, you've got twins, haven't you? Young
twins,
twins. 2 or 3?
2-year-old twins,
2-year-old
and
twins, yeah.
a 5-year-old daughter as well.
A 5-year-old, and you work full time.
Yeah.
And you've got quite a high pressure job, and doing, running a home and everything else. So so it was really the tiredness, and you'd kind of noticed that weight was not as easy to shift as it was before, etc.
Yeah.
So what did you try to do on your own before to make changes?
I did a lot of running. I used to do a huge amount of running. So through lockdown, I was back running again a lot, 20k a week. That wasn't affecting my weight at all. And I was trying to eat what I thought was more healthily, cutting out the sweet stuff. But yeah, I realise now that probably I wasn't doing the right things with the diet, for sure. I didn't join any plans or anything. Yours was actually the first one that I joined. But yeah, so I was kind of dabbling. I wasn't really doing anything really concerted to try and deal with the situation up till that point.
Yeah. And what made you make the decision to join the Revitalize method? What was it that encouraged you to do that?
I started to see lots online about lifestyle medicine and general wellness and improving your health through good lifestyle choices rather than medicine and things like that. So I started to see lots of different programs like yours crop up, and you know how it is. You see one and then all the adverts for all the others start coming up, and I started to think, maybe this is what's going to work for me. I need an all-round approach. I can't just address one thing, and maybe all of these lifestyle changes might help explain why I'm feeling the way I am, because I'm being tired and stressed and poor mood and agitated and all of that. So yeah, that was mine.
Yeah. And did you have any hesitations about joining? Was there anything that you were not sure about before you joined?
I mean, I think with anything like this, there's always an element of, gosh, is it going to work? It's a big leap, big leap of faith. But yeah, I looked at a lot of your previous videos like this one, and so many other people had commented on, fabulous responses, very, very quickly, and I thought, that, there's obviously something that's right. So yeah.
Okay, good. And what was the first thing? So you joined the program back in, where are we now, in November?
About August.
August, right. And what was the first thing you noticed that improved for you and helped you with the program? What was the first thing you noticed?
I'd say my energy levels improved very, very quickly within the first week or so. My cravings for sweet foods as well very, very quickly disappeared, and that was very noticeable, and it wasn't long at all before the weight started falling off without me even thinking about it, to be honest. And I was never hungry, and it just definitely those in the beginning.
And that's the thing, I think. I promote what I do as it's not a diet. if you want to get the results without dieting, without restrictive dieting. But people still don't believe that that's actually possible, because we have a culture of the only way to lose weight is to restrict yourself, starve yourself, and people don't believe it, do they? And so it's really great when, you know, people who've been through the program actually talk about it and say, I was not hungry. I think, you know, we're so used to having to cut things out, restrict our calories, be miserable in order to, or that's what we're led to believe is the only way to get results. And actually, as we know, it doesn't get results. As you know, you were doing all the exercise, you were doing all the things, and you still weren't getting any results. Mm-hmm. So obviously you're 40, so you're at the early stages. You know, you're not even if you are perimenopausal, you know, you haven't got the symptoms as such yet. No, what made you want to do the program now? What was the driver? Is it because of wanting to sort of future-proof yourself, as it were?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So there are two kind of reasons. Partly that putting myself in a good position to head into perimenopause would be better than trying to deal with any problems before they crop up later. Yeah. And then also, life is so busy and hectic, and there were a lot of external factors that I couldn't change, but I thought if at least I can change what I can, that will make me better equipped to deal with those external factors. And it has, definitely. So.
Yeah. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? In terms of
external factors?
Yeah.
Also, having two-year-old twins and zero sleep, constantly interrupted sleep, yet still trying to do a job and run a business, and it was just no spare time for me, and I was eating convenience foods, highly processed stuff that I could just grab on the go, and it was making me grumpy and short-tempered with my family, unable to focus at work. That was a huge problem for me. Lost all my drive and ambition, and that's all come back again now, which is really nice.
And it's not like those external factors have changed. You know, you've got young kids, they're still young, you know, it's not nothing's changed in that respect. But from what you're saying, the way that you feel means that you can deal with it in a completely different way, which makes such a difference.
100%.
Yeah. And the drive and, you know, the drive and motivation, you know, especially women when they get to 40s and into 50s, that can become a problem, and they think that that's just how it is and it can't change, and you're actually proof that yes, it can, with the right approach. So brilliant. So what stood out for you about the program the most? What do you feel is the sort of biggest standout for you?
I think the thing that's been really good is the huge amount of learning that's gone on along through the whole program. How much I've learned about how the body works, and what different conditions and foods and external things coming into your body do to you, and then the effect that can have cumulatively in the long term. And that's been fascinating, and it's made me more interested to go out and research more beyond that as well, and I've learned so much. It's been really, really interesting.
And that, I think, is the, you know, as I always say, women, we're intelligent, if we're given the information, then we will, and it makes sense. If it's based on science and it actually makes sense to us, we will do it. But there's just such a lack of information, or it's so confusing and contradictory. So much of it contradicts, they contradict each other, that you're left thinking, what's actually true. Should I do loads of exercise? Should I or should I not? Should I eat loads of carbs, or should I eat no carbs, or should I eat some carbs, and it's so confusing. And I think that's the thing I really wanted to help with, was to sort of dispel all the myths and really educate women so they come out of it not just having achieved their goals, but actually having transformed their whole way of how they look after themselves, which is, you know, and that's the joy I get out of it. So what was the result that you are most proud of or pleased with at the end of it?
I think all of it, really. I think the biggest thing has been it's kind of, our whole family has improved our diet as a result of this. We've all, well, me and my partner have both lost weight, and he wasn't even trying to. And the kids, it's got the kids really interested in healthy eating as well, which is brilliant. Now my 5-year-old is turning around to me and going, "Can't eat that, mummy, that's not very, very good for you." So, you know, and she'll decline something that says it's too sugary, and can I have a piece of fruit instead? So it's, yeah, that's been really nice, actually, that because I know that will last a long time.
Yeah. The things you instill into them at that age. I wish I had been doing what I do when my son was 5. You know, he was a little bit older, and even though he is rebelling a little bit at the moment, I know that everything that the groundwork and everything I've taught him, it's there, and he will draw on it, because you know, as he gets older and he stops being a teenager. So what's life like now, and what are your plans for going forwards?
I think just to keep carrying on, really. What I've really found that's been good about the plan is, once I've learnt the basics, it's been, but then there have been weeks where I really couldn't stick to it because work was gone nuts or whatever, no sleep, the kids were ill. It's been very easy to get back to it once I've got the basics. When I first started, I'd be checking those lists that you sent us constantly. How much of this can I eat, how much of that? And now I don't do that. I haven't looked at those lists in months. It's just all there, and I can go around the supermarket, and it's just as quick as it was before to pick up the things I need. And you know, to be able to then, I know that I'll keep doing that now. It's easy to do that. And I'm also starting to find more ways that, because when I started the plan, I found it very difficult to eat in the right way when I was eating out. Options in restaurants and cafes are really limited. But I've started to find ways that I can tweak what's on offer. And things like tweaking my favourite recipes from before to make them more suitable and fit in with the guidelines of the plan. And so I can still keep eating the things that I always wanted to eat, just in a slightly different way.
Exactly.
And so to keep doing that is really good. And that one of the big things one of the big benefits I found is that I've really I can really read now how my body reacts to things I put into it. I never noticed before, but now I'm really, really aware of the way my body behaves depending on what I eat and drink. It makes such a massive difference. And being aware of that, I can now read that and then adjust what I'm doing accordingly, and fix it very easily without relying on, you know, antacids and stomach, tablets and things like that I was relying on a huge amount before. So to just keep doing that, and I feel now like I'm in a really good position to easily continue the plan without any massive effort, and that's been really good.
Brilliant. And you make that's such a good point, is that, you know, this isn't about, somebody was saying to me earlier today, you know, do I give do I give meal plans? And I was explaining, no. There are some meal plans for guidance, but I don't hand out meal plans to individually, because this is about women understanding what to do, taking control and making it work for them and their family. And as you said, you can still have the things that you used to enjoy, but you've made tweaks to it so that it works for you. And that's the whole point of it, because this is about longevity. This is about sustained change. It's not a diet. It's not a quick fix, lose a few pounds. It's nothing to do with it's not a weight loss plan. And secondly, what you were saying about being able to be intuitive and listening to your body. When women start the program, they're not able to do that because their symptoms are so vast and often so strong that they can't hear. I mean, they can hear what the body's telling them in terms of it doesn't like things, but they have no clue why. Whereas once you've got that balance and you've brought yourself to that, you know, that balanced state, then you really notice, like, you know, you said, the days when you've perhaps been short on time or you've not had good sleep. I remember one, you know, you had a spell where the little ones were not sleeping too well because of colds and stuff, and you found that you were craving sugar more.
Yeah, definitely.
Which you would never have noticed before because you're probably craving sugar every day.
Yeah.
And so you can make that correlation and actually, you know, adjust things accordingly as much as you can with sleep. So yeah, great.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, and you know, it's been brilliant. I've loved seeing your progress through it, and hearing about, you know, your changes and supporting you through it. So it's been absolutely lovely to work with you. Thank you for
great. Thank you very much,
today. All right, thanks a lot. Take care.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye. Where are we?